Testing. All right, we're good. Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining our session. I'm Arvind, and I'm a program manager. No, it looks like they're still having issues. Is it any better or no? Can you guys in the back here? Yeah, okay. All right, well, I'm Arvind, and I'm a program manager on the Azure Active Directory team, and I'm joined by one of my teammates, Luis. In this presentation, could you switch to the presentation? Cool. In this session, we'll be talking about how you can deploy, manage, and secure your applications with Azure Active Directory. So whether you're using an application like Concur to book your tickets to Ignite, or an application like DocuSign to manage contracts, Azure Active Directory can provide secure, single sign-on access to all your applications. We'll break this session down into a few PowerPoint slides on how to get started with applications, and then we'll jump right into some demos on how to actually go and do that. So first, let's talk about adding an application to your tenant. The Azure Active Directory team has pre-integrated about 3,000 applications with our gallery, and we've tested out single sign-on to make sure that you'll have a smooth experience onboarding. So we've even created a set of tutorials that walk you through step-by-step how to integrate that application, both within Azure Active Directory as well as within the third-party application. We hope that this will provide a smooth experience onboarding to the application. If there's an app that you need and you don't find it within our gallery, let us know, and we have a team dedicated to working with you and the application owner to try and get that integrated. We want to provide the best possible experience. Once you've added an application to your tenant, you want to start setting up single sign-on. And we understand that the SAML protocol can be quite challenging, so we've released a brand new single sign-on UI that walks you through how to set up that application. For more complex applications that require things like claims transformations, we released a new set of claims like toUpper, which capitalizes all of your claims, or toLower, which makes them all lowercase. So as a lot of our customers transition from on-prem IDPs to Azure Active Directory, we want to have the claims that you need to migrate your applications. Once you've set up single sign-on for an app, you'll want to start rolling it out to your organization. And we've created a few surfaces for you to access all of your applications. So whether it's the My Apps browser extension, or the My Apps Access panel, or within Office 365 directly, you can access all of your applications. So whether it's a Microsoft app, a cloud app, or a line of business app that you've set up on-prem, you can access all your applications from one of these places. I'll turn it over to Luis to do a quick demo on how to do some of the things that I talked about here.
Thank you. Hi. So this is the Azure Active Directory. We are in enterprise applications now. Here's the place where you want to go to manage all your applications that you as an administrator have added and configured to your directory, or your end users are actively using. So for this demo, I'm going to add a new application. So I go here, New App. As Arvind mentioned, we have a gallery with more than 3,000 applications that we have pre-integrated, work with ISVs to make it easy for you to configure. We have different categories of apps. We understand our customers are across industry. So if you need finance apps, healthcare, we have for you. If you don't find an app here, not found, we have two options for you. One is that you can use the non-gallery feature. So it's a generic template that you can use to configure your app for single sign-on. Or you can work with our team to onboard that application that it's not in the gallery to our gallery. So you can just click this link, and that will give you all the instructions you need. So for this demo, let's add ADP. So we select ADP here. This page will tell us what single sign-on mode it supports. So we can see that supports SAML-based single sign-on as long as password. we recommend that you use SAML when it's available, or OpenID Connect. Those are federated protocols for single sign-on. Let's change the name to Ignite Demo. Also, because we have worked with the ISVs to integrate these apps, so we know what are the steps required to configure those applications. For using SAML, generally, you need to configure the identity provider, Azure Active Directory, and the application, so ADP. So this step-by-step tutorial will give you all the required steps to accomplish this. So let's add the application. So we'll have the configuration page for the application now. Because in this scenario, we're just going to allow all users to access the application. So let's set this setting here, user assignment required to know. If you want a specific user groups to get access to this application, then you need to go to this tab and assign them. But because we are here just being flexible, so let's everybody to get access to this application. So we want to configure SAML base for this app. So we select SAML. And then this is the walkthrough experience that we recently launched for Ignite. We took all our customers' feedback, see what were the pain points that they were having with our previous UI, and put it into this. So you can see that we have different steps. Not all of the steps require actions from you. We try to remove as much as we can this complexity. So most of the steps just require you to review and see if everything looks fine and is expected. So for this application, we need to provide identifier. That's something that is missing, and the UI tell us, hey, this is missing, right? So we go here. We see that it's pre-filled for us. So because we have worked with the ISVs, we know that that's what they expect. This is the identifier they expect across all customers. So we just pre-fill it for you. You review it. You can save it. Done. And then let's go to the user attributes. So in general, for most of our cloud apps in the gallery, they don't require you to add more claims. But we understand that there's customers working with other vendors that require maybe like custom claims, or if you have applications on-prem that require like claims that only like are specific to your environment, so you can come here and add those claims. So for this scenario, I'm going to add a claim called Ignite Owner. I'm going to do some transformation to this claim. I'm going to do a to-upper on the display name. So what we can expect is that when we issue a token to the application, we can see a claim with this name and with uppercase for the display name. So let's see that's what we get. Then the third step is the sign-in certificate. For the sign-in certificate, this is how you build the trust between Azure AD and the application. So in this step, you don't have to do anything, just download it, configure on the IDP. It has different formats. It depends on what the application is expecting. And in the step-by-step tutorial, we'll tell you that, what is expected by the application. Plus, you can do more customization on this certificate. You can change the date of expiration up to 3 years, so you can have 1, 2, or 3, or months, or whatever it's convenient for you. You can add multiple notification email address if you want more people to get notified when the expiration date is coming for that app. So you can roll over and plan roll over that certificate. You can also import your own certificate. So if you have already an application on-prem that you want to migrate to Azure AD, but you don't want to change the certificate because you don't want to break the connection or something, then you can just import your own certificate. That's also a new feature for Ignite. We are the source of authority, and we create a new certificate. Yeah, the question is, where is the certificate that we create automatically? So we, Azure AD, we are the source of authority, and we create that certificate. So the fourth step is set up ADP. We're not doing it now just because the time constraint. We only have 20 minutes. But it's just go there with these applications. You configure it. We're making it more and more like user-friendly and easy for you. So we have another session tomorrow where my friend Adam is going to show you how we are doing one-click SSO, where you can just, with one click, configure the other third-party app or cloud app. And then we can test the application. So what we expect is, because everything is configured on Azure AD, we will be able to send a token to the application, right? Let's see what happens. So we're signing with the current user. And then we see that there is a token that we send to the application. And you can see it here. This is also a new app a new feature that we have enabled for you, where I don't know if you have experience using Fiddler and getting the traffic to get the read token, where you can install the plugin. So now in Azure AD, we do that for you. We capture that token. We display it. You can download the SAML response. You can see what's the content in the SAML response, what's the claim. So we can see here that this is the claim that we configure in the UI. You can also check the token certificate is inactive, active. So that's for SSO configuration, Arvin.
Well, thanks, Luis. Now let's talk about managing your app. So once you've set up single sign-on, you'll want to start doing things like providing users access by assigning them to the application, renewing certificates, reviewing user activity. While this is easy to do with one or two applications, as the number of apps in your tenant grows, you'll want to start delegating this out to others in the organization. So we released a number of roles, such as the application administrator, cloud app admin, the application owner, and the application developer. So each of these users has a different level of permission to do things in the directory. So for example, the application administrator can create, update, and delete all applications. So they have full control to manage the apps in your directory. Now, if that's too much access, you can use the Cloud App Admin role, who's able to create, update, and delete applications that are cloud apps. So they won't be able to do this for on-prem apps exposed via App Proxy. If that's too much, you can assign someone the application owner role. So the application owner is able to manage all aspects of an application that he or she is the owner of. So that user won't be able to manage another application. Another role is the application developer, who's able to register applications in the tenant. So that user won't be able to do things like configure single sign-on or assign users, but they will be able to register apps in the tenant. So once you've gotten these roles assigned to users and a bunch of apps added to your tenant, you'll want to start reviewing who's actually accessing those applications. So we've released a capability called Access Reviews, where you can look at, for example, all of the guest users in your tenant and see which ones have actually accessed this app in the past 30 days and determine should this user still have access to that application. You can either do this manually, where you see all of the users assigned to the app and revoke users that you'd like to remove. You can delegate it out to someone else, such as a business owner in the organization or even an auditor. Or you can programmatically remove these users with the access review capability. Luis will touch on that in the next demo.
Thank you. So I want to show you that we want to encourage our customers to not use global admins for all the tasks. So we have designated roles that you can delegate that task to. So for everything that I'm doing here, I'm using my user, which doesn't have, you can see here, it's not a global admin, right? It has different roles that it will allow me to accomplish this task. But also, I really enjoy configuring single sign-on for these apps, enable my users to be productive, but I'm conscious that I cannot do it all. So if I want Arvin also to help me out with that, I can go to the app administrator role, and I can add him as an admin too, so he can, perform those tasks too. Now let's quickly look to access review. So if I don't want people accessing applications when they have more than 30 days of inactivity into this application. I want to remove them automatically from accessing the application. I can just go here to Access Review, Controls, create a new Access Review, and then I can give it a name, and then select Assign to an application. It's going to be for everybody. And then I can select the application. So the application I just create. And then I can say that the reviewer is myself, so assigning me more tasks to do. And then this switch, it tells me like, once they reach 30 days of inactivity, just remove them. So here's where I start this. We can show you how it looks like for an existing access review. Just because this app won't show anything, nobody has accessed the application yet, right? So we can see this one existing. We see that there is one user that has been inactive, and the recommendation is deny the access, right? So that's what we see here.
Thanks, Luis. For the last part of our session, we'll talk about security. So we understand that protecting data is critical to all of our organizations. So we've released some experiences that provide you clear and transparent insight into all of the data that's being exposed to the apps. So now you can see all of the applications that have been consented to by administrators in your tenant, as well as the user consented permissions. So you'll be able to see on a particular application here all of the permissions that have been consented to and how many users have provided consent. If it's an app that you don't trust, we've made it easy to revoke access to that application. And if it's an app that you do trust, you'll be able to grant access to that application directly from the portal. We'll show you that in the demo once we get to it. If there's an app that you do trust, you'll want to ensure that only the people that you trust are actually accessing that application. So with conditional access, you can not only secure Office 365, but all of your cloud applications. So you can use a conditional access policy such as require multi-factor authentication for all risky users or deny access for all users outside of a trusted IP address. I'll turn it over to Luis to give a quick demo on how to review the permissions that are being exposed to an application.
Yeah. So I always review my apps. I know what apps are in my tenant. But I noticed there was one particular app that I was not aware. It's Smartsheet. So I was curious to know how that app got into my tenant. So I look for the app. It's here. So I didn't create this app. I didn't consent to this application. So I can go to the permissions. If I know, like, I'm curious about this app. It's this app, like, something that is getting information from my directory without my permissions. So I see that in this tab, no admin has consented to this application. So none of my peers has consented to this application. And then if I go to user consent, I see that one user is using these applications, and someone in my organization has consented to this application. I want to know who is this person. So it's John. I don't know him, but I believe he's using a Smartsheet to be more productive, right? He's using a Smartsheet for something good. So now I want to analyze what permissions this application has in my directory. So I see that they just need sign in. I read user profile permissions. I'm good without permissions. I don't think there's a harm of these applications having that access to my tenant. And I believe like this application will allow people to be more productive. So I want my end users to have a better experience if they decide to try this application. So I will just consent on behalf of everybody in the organization. So I will go here and I will click this button. And then I will sign in. I can see that I get prompt from consent. I'm consenting on behalf of all my organization, so no other user will receive or see this consent prompt. So I consent for Smartsheet, and now we give just like a second for that to refresh here. And I can see that there is a new link with admin consent. So that was my consent. And also, we have this new experience where if you are curious on how those applications got into your directory, we can provide guidance on how to analyze or take actions for those applications. So if you feel that this application is suspicious and I want to investigate more, we have guidance on what the steps you need to take. And these are ready-to-go PowerShell scripts to take those actions. So for example, here is like optional. You can remove all users. So you can just like copy this, run it into PowerShell, done. You remove all users. Good.
Well, that's our entire presentation. Thanks everyone for joining. We've got a few resources here that you can use. So if you're migrating apps from an on-prem IDP, you can go to aka.ms/migrate-apps to get some white papers, solution guides, as well as scripts that we've created to migrate apps. You can also go to aka.ms/deployment plans to get some step-by-step documents that walk through how to do things like single sign-on, user account provisioning, conditional access, self-service password reset, and much more. And we'd also love your feedback on how the app's experience is. So you can take our survey here at apps/survey. Thanks, everyone.